Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of This Too Shall Pass podcast, a podcast created from the women founded group Affirming Always. My name is Kay, and my mom, Becky, and I are your hosts. And we have a very special guest for this episode as well, life and manifestation coach, Tami Gomez. Mom, it's so funny because every time I introduce you, you go,
I know.
in every episode.
So super excited, Tammy, to have you here. And I'll kind of I'm going to get into a little bit in a few minutes of kind of how I found you. I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. I'm so excited you're here. To give everybody a little taste of what we're going to be doing, I got to show you my shirt. It's one of my favorite shirts. Can you see it?
Love it.
Manifest that shit. Right? So that's one of my favorite shirts. But the past couple episodes that Kaylin and I did kind of were a little bit more serious, where we talked about, some of our mental health struggles. Last time we talked about, I'm the mom of a very significant special needs child. Kaylin's obviously the sibling of one, and we had a guest who also had the sibling. So some of our topics have been a little bit more kind of deep in terms of talking about maybe trauma and mental health. And I think some of this plays into that and a toolkit kind of on how to get yourself out of that headspace. That's how it got me out of that headspace, actually. So I'm so excited to have you here. I will say on TikTok, you have showed your calendar schedule, and I see how full and how booked you are. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. And I also always forget when I talk to you about people that not only are you a life and a manifestation coach, but you are also an author. And I know this is one of your books, and you just actually, I believe, released another book, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, this one.
yes, and I have to get my hands on that one. What's that one called?
Becoming
Unstoppable.
I'll send you one.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that. So congratulations on your books, as well as everything else that you're doing. And we're just really happy to have you here.
Mom, you have to send it to me after, though. That's the deal.
I will. I will.
I'll just send both of you one. You don't have to share.
I love it.
Ooh, even better.
There's abundance to go around for everybody.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, ladies, thank you guys so much for having me, on your podcast. And I remember when your mom first told me that you were, first of all, she told me about your Facebook group, and I immediately joined that. And then she told me about your podcast, and I was like, things happen so fast. And so I was because you and I had a coaching call prior, I was so excited and so happy for you that you're doing something that you love and that you're passionate about. And then I'm so honored and privileged that you guys would invite me, onto your podcast, and to allow me to be a part of your journey is fantastic.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much for that. I appreciate it.
And we likewise, we appreciate it as well. So thank you so much.
This episode is going to be structured a little bit differently, I think, from other episodes that we have released. I think we have some questions for you, Tami, but we also just kind of want to let you have the floor a little bit to talk about what it is you do and how you began this journey of self-healing. I know my mom is the one that had originally kind of introduced your videos to me. It was really funny because I remember the first time my mom talked to me about you, she kept sending me your lives, and I would be at work and I would be like, Mom, I can't watch these right now. Like, this is not the time. Every day for 3 times a day, I'm getting lives. And she goes, no, she has the coolest glasses and they're different colors every time she does a live, and she's really just going to change your life. And I remember that being like my introduction to who Tami was, and me being a fashionista, I was like, okay, she has cool glasses, so
Absolutely.
I must check out who this person is. And Mom, I'll let you kind of say how you discovered her as well, super quick.
So Tami, before we get into like the ins and outs of who Tami is and what she does, for me, I'll kind of tell you my journey. So obviously COVID came March 2020. What are we, 3 years ago? And it impacted everybody. I mean, the whole world. It impacted everybody. And at that point, I had just started a new job. And went from working in a brand new job for 3 months to then being home, and I'm still actually working from home. But that learning curve takes a lot longer when you're working from home. So that stress really kicked in for me of what the hell do I do? I don't even know what my job is. Like, I don't have my coworkers around me. Like, it was a really challenging time for me. And I can remember probably 8 months into COVID when we could start kind of going back into stores. I was at Barnes and Noble, and I randomly picked up a book from Gabby Bernstein. I don't know if you're familiar with her, and it was called "The Universe Has Your Back." And I'm kind of sitting there, and I'm like, all right, let me read a page or two. So it was a couple pages on manifestation, and that page I happened to come across, she was just like, think of anything in the world, think of a number, think of anything. So I'm like, all right, the number 100. I don't know. So then I turned the book over and I'm reading the back page, and there were two references to the number 100. And I don't have the book in front of me, but it talked about how she was in like Oprah's 100 top women circle, and then something else about a number 100. And I was like, oh shit, that's kind of crazy. Like, all right, all right. So come 2021, COVID is, still up and rampant. That January is kind of my mental health rock bottom, where I'm like, I need to do something. Like, I'm just not in a good place. And she, again, Gabby Bernstein, had a 21-day manifestation challenge. And I'll tell you, like 3 years ago, I would have been like, manifest a what? Like, what the hell's a manifestation, right? So I did the 21-day manifestation, really starting my journey on learning about that. And I'm going to tell you another really cool manifestation that I did. It was, again, pick anything to think about. All right. So I'm in my bedroom and I'm like, all right, here's a pineapple. I am going to manifest a pineapple. Right. So, so I go through the day and I go to the grocery store and I see a pineapple there and I'm like, yeah, no, probably not. Like, I don't know that that's it. And I'm putting my 8-year-old to bed that night and saying goodnight. And you know how kids are like, one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. And she's like, can I just show you the sticker my teacher gave me at school today? Like, she gave me a sticker, I had a good day. I'm like, all right. So she shows me the back of her iPad, and it's a sticker of a pineapple that her teacher gave her that day. And I'm like, how random is that? Like, out of all things. So I'm like, all right, there's something here. Like, and that's when I really started to not believe in coincidences, and like, I believe in like synchronicity. Like, Tammy, I'm all about like, life is always working out for me. I get that from you, and I'm always saying it now, and I'm saying it to my kids, and I'm like, wow, life's really always working out for me. So then, as I go along, I started to really want to research this manifestation thing and learn more about it. And that's how I came across you on TikTok initially. And I mean, I was hooked. I mean, your knowledge base, the way you interact with people, your humor, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm hooked, and I am a huge, huge fan. I really, really am. And I'm so glad you're here. I totally believe in what you do. I've, like Kaylin said, I've been sharing it with her. I know she'll talk a little bit about the coaching session you did with her. But we're just really happy to have you here and to kind of share what you do, with other people that don't know. So I don't know if you kind of want to get started and talk about kind of how you started, or what it is, kind of where your manifestation journey started.
Wow. You want to go back that far? Okay, I will. I'll try to condense it as much as I can. So, a little background on me. I grew up in a poor family. My mom and dad struggled financially, and my dad acquired a very rare disease when I was in elementary school. That was a life-threatening disease. He ended up beating that and then passing away of cancer in 1987, which is so ironic. But my mom, when my dad got sick, had to go to work and take care of things because my dad was the breadwinner at that point. And since he was sick, she had to do it. So she got a job at a country club in Northern California, and she managed condominiums for about 32 private homeowners. It was a homeowners association. And so she worked for them, and she actually, she did it for 20 something years, retired at the age of 72 from doing that. but I remember her making roughly about $1,200 a month from that job. And this was back in the day, right? And my dad wasn't working. He was collecting Social Security, like disability, for his illness. So, here I am at that point getting ready to go into high school, and I'm going out like during the summer with my mom to the condos, and I'm helping her, right? I'm just walking along with her. We're picking stuff up. She's doing all the things she needs to do, and I'm just kind of pitching in wherever I can. And so during that process, I got to meet a lot of extremely wealthy people, as well as celebrities. And they were all so nice, to me anyway. And I remember them giving me rides in their Rolls-Royce Cornish convertibles and their Ferraris. And, I would hang out with their kids, and I would play golf, because I started playing golf when I was 14, because it was the only sport that women could play where you could earn a living at it besides tennis. And I was athletic growing up, and so I couldn't play baseball because I was a girl, and you couldn't make money playing softball. So golf was the next thing. And so I had already been playing golf. And so now I get to play with the rich kids, right, at the country club. So by day, I'm living the life of a wealthy kid. And at night, I'm going home to pretty much poverty, where we just don't have anything. I remember in ninth grade wanting a pair of shoes, tennis shoes, that everybody else was wearing. They weren't Nikes. They were like Asics or something, or Pumas. And I wanted a pair so bad, and we couldn't afford it. We just couldn't afford it. So I couldn't get them. And so, you would think that those small things like that don't have an effect on kids, but they really do. They really do. You understand the separation between others and yourself when you're not able to have those things. And so then that, coupled with living the wealthy life by day and the poverty life by night, I really had a strong contrast, and was able to, at that point in high school, make a decision that I was going to be rich. I was going to be rich. I was not going to live like that. And if I ever had kids, I wasn't going to have that environment for them either. And so that was the shift in my mindset. The beginning shift was when I was in high school, junior high and high school. Then as an adult, so I go through my career. So here's what I'm thinking. Golf's my ticket to money, right? Professional athlete. So I work hard. I wasn't passionate about it. I was doing it for one reason only, which was for the accolades, ego, and for the money. And so I never really had my heart in it. So I never reached my full potential, although I did play professionally on the tour, right, for 12 years as a professional golfer, professional athlete. But I never reached the potential I should have reached. So in 2006, it kind of, after I had retired from being a professional athlete, a friend of mine gave me the book, Ask and It Is Given, by Abraham, Esther, and Jerry Hicks, right? Abraham Hicks. And she was a chiropractor, and she said, here, I've got this for you. I've read it. It's phenomenal, and I want you to read it. And I said, okay. And so I was blown. Like, I understand when you say, I knew nothing about manifestation, and then you pick up this book of Barnes and Noble, and you have this aha moment of there's a whole nother reality. There's something going on here. That's how I felt when I read Ask and It Is Given. That was all it took. And I went down the rabbit hole. And I mean, I was all over the place, like researching everything I could research. I was enrolling in certification classes on mental skills. I dug into psychology, like you name it. I was all about it. And what I found was I was able to, what I consider it's a lifelong journey, right? This understanding your reality, understanding your spirituality, all those things are lifelong journey. But I began to understand how to combine taking action with what lights you up inside. In other words, the spiritual side of you, that all-knowing part of you that says, you should be doing this. And then doing it, taking action, even if it doesn't make sense, taking those next steps in faith and not fear. And so that was the beginning journey, was me understanding that concept and then retraining my brain, or some people want to call it brainwashing. It's literally reprogramming yourself from your old beliefs and old traumas, and literally making a decision saying, okay, I understand I control all this. I understand I'm the one that's doing all this. I'm the common denominator. And so now I'm going to take these and I'm going to put it into use. I'm going to integrate it into who I am and start changing the chemistry, the wiring in my brain, so that I can truly have the things that I desire without all of the blocks, right? So that began that journey. And that's been going on, like I said, since 2006. Even though I was interested in the mental side of things simply because I was a professional athlete. I knew about visualization from being a professional athlete, right? Back in the day, we didn't have sports psychologists that I could, and of course I'm coming from a poor family, so even if I could find one, I couldn't afford one, right? But I could read books from sports psychologists, right? And so I learned about visualizing. I learned about creating what I wanted to experience in my mind, so then it would become automatic. And that's what athletes call the zone. Is the zone when they've rehearsed it so much in their mind that when they actually go out and perform it for real, it's automatic and they're in the zone of it, right? So that started me off in the visualization process. And then coming across this book, I was like, my mind was just like, you got to be kidding me right now. Like, the sky is the limit. Here we go. Right, here we go. And so, and it's crazy because once I started diving into this, I remember feeling like I was everybody's therapist. Like, it was all of a sudden the door opened and everybody was coming to me for advice and telling me about their problems and what they wanted to do and all this stuff. And I thought, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to be a coach. I don't want to be a psychologist. I don't want to be a therapist, but I want to mentor and coach people on this topic. I can't get a degree in the law of attraction that doesn't exist, right? Because if there was, trust me, I'd have as many as I could get. And so that's kind of what led me to this process. And I've been doing it ever since. And I'm so blessed to be able to work with celebrities, you know, and professional athletes, Super Bowl winners, right, on their mindset, especially some of these guys that have retired from professional sports that are struggling so much. They feel lost. They don't know what to do, right, with their life. And mindset is just, it hits close to home with me. My mom passed away of dementia. And so I can see the trauma and the things that my mom went through, not having a memory from recent, no short term, just long term, and how she was able to create her reality and me trying to change it, me trying to bring her into my reality and her so stuck in hers that we would fight all the time until I was like, okay, uncle, I give, I'll just go into your reality. And once I did that, it was smooth as butter. Like, we didn't fight, we didn't butt heads. And so everything I've done, long story short, everything I've done since the time I can remember has always been about how to create or how to live this life that I want, you know, and I just didn't have the so-called keys to the kingdom until I could actually go do the work and figure it all out, and trial and error and hiring my own coaches and my own mentors that I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on to learn this. And all the people I've met, it's just been an amazing, amazing life up to this point. Like, and it just, the unfolding of it is beautiful. And I don't know what's going to come from one minute to the next. And being totally okay with that is what gives people a sense of peace and happiness. Just like, I'm okay with that.
And I learned that one of the things that I learned for me, which was one of the biggest things, is giving up fear and control. Letting universe, source, God, creator, whatever you call it, but giving up fear and control, knowing that the universe, whoever has my back. But giving up that fear and control to me was like the biggest piece that really like took a load off of me. it was, I mean, it's something that I still work with, and it's not easy, but that was a huge piece for me, in really being able to start, manifesting and believing, that things, I don't know, things can change, things can be better. I was telling Kaylin, one of the things with, like, I think that, talking about the law of attraction is, you're driving down the street, or you see your friend who's got like this brand new car or brand new house or whatever, and instead of being like, damn, why can't I have that? It's that, oh my God, that's so awesome for you. Like, I'm so excited for you, because you got to put out that positive, that positive to get that positive back, rather than putting up that block of, well, that's never going to happen to me, you know?
Yep.
Well, and it's a small example too. I was just telling my mom before this call, super shortly after we had our one-to-one coaching session, Tammy. I was just doing like affirmations at night. I was like, okay, what can it hurt to just put positive things that I want to happen into the air? I had been talking about how I really wanted to get a manicure. I live in New York City and I'm 23, so there's not much disposable income happening to allow for manicures regularly, unfortunately, at the moment. Um, but I put in my affirmations, I'm grateful to have regular income. I can't wait until I have the income to be able to do my nails when I want to. Like, trying to not say like I wish I could do this, but like saying that I'm grateful for what I had, and I know that it's going to come to me to be able to do that. And I was walking into the deli at about 2 a.m. on my way home from a night out with friends, and I found $100 bill on the ground right outside of the deli. And like there was no one around, like no one to, be like,
Hey, is
hey,
this
you
yours?
got this. Yeah, 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 exactly. The street was dead. It was so late at night, but it was just like, it's New York City. Do you know how many people have walked into that deli since this dollar bill probably, or $100 bill probably dropped on the ground? Like, come on. So it was just, it only takes, I feel like, one thing to tell you, like, okay, there's no way this could be a coincidence, to now, like, really put the effort and the consistency into changing your
And
mindset.
it's definitely practice. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it is definitely practice. And sometimes I have to check myself. I really have to stop and check myself and my mindset, because I know I put those blocks up. I mean, I can feel it on those days when I'm just not in a good place, and I put those blocks up, and I kind of just have to take baby steps backwards and kind of retrain myself again, and just find that place where what can I be grateful for? Let's start there. Let me find one thing today that I can really have that gratitude for. Um, so I know, Tammy, that you do a lot on TikTok. You go live a lot. You post videos, which are super cool. I love your little like tips of the trade, or whatever you call them, your little manifestation tricks, that you'll post for people. And I know now you're posting onto YouTube. Um, what is what do you love doing about, going on TikTok and posting on YouTube? Like, what is the best part about that? What has been, because that's fairly new for you, right? Got like the TikTok piece and kind of doing those, but what have you found that's really been like, wow, I'm making a difference?
No, um, it wasn't something that I needed to do. I didn't need to be on
Mhm.
social media promoting myself or trying to get clients or anything like that. Um, it was just an intuition. It was one of those what I call downloads from God, source, creator, universe, whatever you want to label it. And I was driving down the road, my hometown, alone, and something told me to pull into the McDonald's parking lot. And I did, and I parked, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm here, but I'm here. And then the next message that came through was, you need to record a video. You need to record a video, and you need to put it on TikTok. I'm like, now I had a TikTok account, but it was literally just to watch my daughter's TikToks. Like I had, I don't know, 95
Yeah.
followers or something. Like it was crazy. I was never on it. Like didn't do anything. And so I did this video and I posted it. I didn't know what I was doing. Trust me when I say I'm not a marketing genius at all. And I just recorded it and I posted it. And next thing I know, it starts to blow up. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, it kind of scared me a little bit. I'm like, what is going on right now? And from that point, I was like, this is a sign. Like, this is a synchronicity. This is a deal where I'm in alignment with what it is that I desire, which is always helping as many people as I can help. It's always that for me, for you, for us mentality. That's one of my mentors. That's what she teaches us, is to do everything for me, for you, for us, because then it's a win-win for everybody, right? And so I was like, okay, so I need to do more videos, and I don't follow any type of routine when I'm posting. I just post whenever I want to post, whenever I feel like it. And I'm in alignment with that. And it's like, ooh, that sounds good. I think I'll do that now. And I think I'll say this. And nothing is ever scripted. Nothing is ever planned out. I just do it. And I just posted a thing this morning on TikTok, just thanking everybody for following me on that platform, because that was in the very end of July of last year that I posted that in the McDonald's parking lot. And it started to grow quickly. And I mean, the followers grew quick. And I was like, oh my God. And then my daughter says, Mom, do you know if you get to, it's so funny, she's 12, right? She's like, Mom, do you know if you get to 1,000 followers, you can go live on TikTok? And I'm like, oh, like you can on Facebook? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, so I would write in my manifesting journal, I'm so grateful for the 1,000 followers. And then the emotion I felt with it was like excitement, right? And so I would write what I call my 8 and 8 manifesting journal every day. And pretty soon I hit 1,000 followers, and I'm like, oh my God, now I can go live. Like, okay, I got 1,000. How many people could possibly be on live with me when I've only got 1,000 followers, right? Because I didn't understand the platform. So I go live, and all of a sudden, here's all these people jumping on 200, 300, and I'm like, where are all these people coming from? Like, I didn't get it. You know what I mean? And so I just kept getting more followers and more followers and more comments and people asking questions. I'm like, my God, this is fantastic. Like, this is my vibe. This is my jam. I'm loving TikTok. And so anyway, so it's grown since I would say the end of July. I think it was like July 30th or something like that. And this morning we hit 63,000 followers, and I'm like, it just happens so fast in like 8 months period of time. For me, that seems like a lot. And for me, it seems really quick, right? Considering what I do, which is just mindset talk, manifesting talk. And so I just love the community that we've been able to build on TikTok. People are so kind. And so like, it's very rare that I'll have a hater come into one of my lives. And I've got a moderator, you know what I mean? A Jen who moderates for me, and she's fantastic, and she's living in Washington. I'm out here in Oklahoma, and she does so much for me, not just on TikTok, but all across the board. And every once in a while, like, she'll have to kick somebody out or block them, right? Because they're being whatever. Who do you vote for, Trump? Or we're like, we're not, nothing to do with what we're talking about. I know where it's going to go. So, but I hear stories all the time of people on live that get so many haters, like they've got to have 3 or 4 moderators. And I'm like, I don't experience that, right? Probably because we're talking about manifesting. The thought never entered my mind that I'd have haters. Like, why would I have haters? Like, this is all positive stuff, right? And so because I think that's my expectation, then that's what I'm receiving, right? But here's the thing you had talked about, and I don't want to, because I can go into coaching like that. So I got to be very careful because that's who I am. I'm a coach, right? But you're talking about some days you feel off, right? And and you're like, man, I got to really kind of take baby steps back and think of something that I could be more grateful for or whatever it might be. And here's what I would say, because I want to be able to help you with this real quick. Because
I appreciate that. No, go for it.
I can't help it. I just can't.
It's part of why you're here. Show people what you do.
I guess. I don't know, but I just like I'm drawn to do this right now. So here's the thing: is that it's okay. I want you to understand that it's okay to give yourself grace on the days that you don't feel good, on the days that you're in a bad mood. You wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You're grumpy. Shit's happening. It's okay because you're human. And you're meant to experience the whole rainbow of emotions that are out there in your human experience. Okay. Here's where we need to gauge ourselves. What is my consistent and dominant feeling? Who am I consistently and dominantly throughout my lifetime? Am I 50% positive and 50% negative? Am I 80% positive and 20% negative? Like, what is the percentage? How are the scales tipped? Because who you dominantly are is what you will attract. So let's just say out of 10 days, 8 days, I'm fantastic. I'm upbeat. I'm positive. Life is always working out for me. It's always just something better. Thank you. And just, right. All those things, right? We're in the vibe. We're in the jam.
Perfectly
whatever,
made
right?
and right on time. I like
Yeah,
that one.
that's right. Never get it wrong. Never get it done, right? And out of those 10 days, 2, you have the worst days ever. Like, you don't want to get out of bed. You feel super sad. You don't know why. You're depressed. I want you to know that those 2 days do not have an effect on what you're trying or attempting to manifest in your life. Because the universe does, God or source or creator, I got to be careful. I got to make sure I cover all the bases for your listeners, right? I have a tendency I call this universal consciousness that created everything, I put it all under one umbrella: God, source, creator, universe. Like, I cover all the bases, right? So God, source, creator, universe doesn't give you what you want simply because you want it. God, source, creator, universe gives you who you are. It gives you a like match to who you are dominantly. So if my dominant thing is happiness and everything is good and, man, it's going to work out, don't worry about it, and I'm uplifting other people and supporting other people, then you're going to experience things in your life that match that vibe, that match that emotion, right? So the universe doesn't give you what you want. The universe gives you who you are. So that's one thing to understand and to remember, that so many people think this. If I write out my affirmations, I am powerful, I am unstoppable, I'm a money magnet, like whatever it is, those I am affirmations that they say, they think that's good enough. They think that's good enough. Like, I'm saying my affirmations every day, but are you believing them? Like, are you believing what you're writing down? Do you really, truly believe in this moment, right now, in the second, that you are enough, that you are worthy, that you are unstoppable, that you are a money magnet? Do you feel abundant right now? Do you feel like an abundant person, or do you feel like somebody that's not abundant, but I'm faking it till I make it? Right? Because the universe knows the difference.
That's the lack mentality, right? You talk about the lack mentality.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the law of attraction in the simplest form that you can think of. And you guys know this, is that like attracts like, without fail, without bias. It doesn't matter. So if you are normally, negative, down in the dumps, those lower level emotions, feeling lack, fear, doubt, I need to know how or when or where it's going to come from, and you're freaking out, all you're doing is setting off that level of communication, which we call vibration and frequency. It's how we are speaking to one another from across the country right now. Even though you can't see the frequency floating through the air that's able to connect us, it is still there. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. So it's the same thing with us. We're putting off this energy from our bodies, and it has a certain frequency to it. And the things that are out that already exist, because trust me, the money you want has already been made. It's already been created. The car you want's already been created. The house you want's already been created. The nail salon that you want to go to get your nail has already been created. It already exists. All you have to do is get in alignment with it. In other words, become it before it happens. That is the hardest part for so many people, is becoming it before it happens. But that's the only way you attract it. Think about it. It's the same way on the opposite spectrum, right? When bad things happen, all of a sudden you think that life is happening to me. Why does this always happen to me?
Yeah.
Right? Why if something's good, something happens good, the other shoe drops? Like, you're just waiting for the bad thing to happen because it's what you believe has always happened. And so that's who you are. That's who you've come to expect. and then you receive more of it, and you sit there and you scratch your head and you go, I don't understand why this
It
keeps
makes
happening.
sense though. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want you to pay attention, not to what you're saying and not to the affirmations so much. These are just tools that we use to help us get into the energy or change our personality or identity of who we are. Those things are just tools to help you. All you have to do, you could take a shortcut. All you have to do is to really buy into the fact that all I have to do is feel the emotions of abundance, of money. Like, how does it feel, Caitlin? How would it feel if you already knew that tomorrow you were going to go get a mani-pedi, that it was done?
I would be so excited to wake up and go start my day.
Okay. So then, with that excitement, knowing how I would feel if it were to happen, can you feel it before it happens?
Yeah, I
So
can
as
feel
you
it.
feel it before it happens, it must manifest.
Mm-hmm.
See? How long can you stay in that feeling of it's going to happen? It's already done. Like, the appointment's set, the money is there. All I got to do is show up and experience it. That's manifestation. That's life. You get what you
Absolutely.
expect, right?
Absolutely. One of the biggest reasons that we wanted to have you on this episode, Tami, was because I feel like not enough people know how much more control they have than they realize over their daily experience and their daily existence. And that was one of the biggest things that I took away from our one-to-one as well, is just like, it's not, as you said, only a matter of like wishing for these things to happen. It's choosing, every day to wake up and being grateful and excited and feeling those positive emotions. And not enough people realize that they have so much more control over that. Then you can choose to feel, you can't control when bad things happen to you, of course, and you can't control, like you said, when you feel sad. And there's going to be a lot of times where negativity is just kind of a little bit more overpowering, as you said, but making that conscious choice when you can to choose the positive, to choose to be grateful, to choose to be looking forward to what comes next, that can really make an impact in your day-to-day life, day-to-day existence.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that humans want, is they want to be able to control how things are going to play out for them. Like right? Humans are very futuristic thinking.
Yes.
Like, what's going to happen tomorrow? How's it going to go down? Like, I need to know all the deets, right? And that's what, when you realize you do have full control over what you experience, it's that you are living your life by default. Manifesting by default. You are experiencing things that you have no clue that you are the one that is creating it. And when you get a taste, when you start drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak, of having this eye-opening experience, like you guys have had with the $100 bill, like all of these nuances, these synchronicities that you've experienced have opened your eyes, and you're like, wait a minute, there's something to this. Now you start dipping your toes in the water of, I can do this. I can actually control, right, what I experience in my life. So the thing that kind of trips people up is they do this. I get this question all the time. Tami, what if everything is vibration and frequency, and if I want to create financial freedom for myself, which of course, as you can imagine, 90% of the people I talk to, that's what they want. What is the frequency of money then? So I can get on the frequency of it so I can bring it to me, right? And I'm like, there is no frequency to money, to dollar bills, right? The only frequency is of emotion. So, and then I ask, why do you want financial freedom? Tell me why you want financial freedom. And they're like, well, because then I don't have to worry about my bills, and I can go on a vacation now and then, or I would just feel better. And I'm like, okay, tell me more about how it would make you feel if you had financial freedom. They're like, well, I would feel at peace. I would feel at ease.
Content, safe,
Safe.
Being just a provider, more of a provider, at ease,
And that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So if that's how the money will make you feel, what happens with most people is that they chase the external thing that they think will give them the internal feeling. You see? So what happens is they chase it, they chase it, they chase it, they chase it. I'm never going to be happy until I have financial freedom. I'm not going to be happy until I find my soulmate. I'm not going to be happy until I have the car, the house, the vacations, the money. I'm not going to be happy until I get all of that. Right? And what happens is, even if you were to luck out, so to speak, and have $1 million fall in your lap, you will figure out a way, because it's not who you are. You are not an abundant person, so you won't know how to handle the money when it comes in. You will find a way to blow it all and spend it, give it away, or hoard it so that nobody steals it from you. And then you'll be so freaked out about hoarding it, like, oh my God, somebody is going to steal it. Like your mind goes, right, that you just get rid of it. You just get rid of it. You make dumb decisions with it, right? Because it's not who you are. When the money leaves, so does everything else with it. If you are dependent upon the money to deliver the goods, to deliver the emotions of peace and ease and happiness and freedom and all that stuff, it's great when you have it, right? But once it leaves, then what? You're back to being unhappy, right? And fearful and all of those emotions, those negative emotions. And so then we started tracking more of those emotions, and you're like, see, I knew it. It was too good to be true. I knew it wasn't going to last. And the prophecy is fulfilled, right? So can you feel at ease now? Can you feel happy now? Right? Because again, the universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you who you are. So if I'm happy now, if I can get into the place where I can think of things that make me feel at ease and peaceful and joyful, doing things for myself that make me feel that way, taking action, inspired action, saying, you know what? I'm still going to figure out a way to go get my mani-pedi, right? Or if I don't have the money, I can still maybe do it at home. Like maybe I'm going to sit on a Saturday night with a little glass of wine and turn on a Netflix movie, and I'm going to paint my own nails, and I'm going to clip my, anything to make you feel the emotions of I'm complete, I'm happy, I'm fulfilled, everything is good. And then as you go through your day, you will be the witness to the unfolding of the abundance happening right in front of your very eyes. You don't need to know the how, the where, the who, the when, because that is part of the manifestation. The how, the where, the who, the when is part of the manifestation. It's part of the path. So you don't need to see the whole path. You don't even need to see half of that path.
and it works. Like I from my own personal experience, I mean, it works. And watching the people that, you have on TikTok, and, in that forum, you're able to kind of go back and forth with people because they're commenting, you're asking questions, and you're able to kind of have that open dialogue with people. But when I really started this and really started, I'm so excited about the financial freedom that I have. I'm so excited about my credit cards being paid off, like that kind of mindset. And I'm telling you, there were some places that money had come to us at where I never in a million years expected that would have shown up in my life. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I was like, that's when I really I'm like, there's some, I believe it. I really, it's a work. It's every day I work on it, but
and it's like going to the gym. The first, week, 2 weeks to a month that you're trying to get yourself to do it, you really don't see any difference. It's hard to stay motivated. It's hard to keep going. But then once you hit that 3-4 week mark, you start to notice it. Other people start to notice it. And it just becomes easier to make it a natural part of your lifestyle. It's just forming that habit. Fun fact, it takes 30 days to form a habit.
Yep. So they say, right?
He's like, correct, accurate.
Yeah, so they say. But no, Kay, you're right, because this is why I do experiments on TikTok on some of my videos. Like, I'm going to give you 24 hours to manifest.
Oh my God, it worked.
A rubber duck. And it
worked.
Yeah, and here's how you do it.
It worked.
Right?
I did it.
I'm going to give you Yeah. So how long did it take you to manifest the
It
rubber
might have
duck?
been like a couple days, but I will tell you that I went to Manifesting the Duck, and then I went to the Big E Fair, which is a big fair in Massachusetts that we have every year. And there were these blown up yellow rubber ducks, like balloons, like for this game thing. And I'm like, damn, that's a yellow freaking duck.
There's the duck. There's my duck. There's my duck. Yeah. And that's why I put up those videos like that to prove to people, if you try the experiment, if you go all in on the experiment and just give it a shot, you will experience what manifestation by intention really is. Like I'm going to intentionally manifest a rubber duck,
Yeah.
right? And then I'm going to give myself a certain amount of time to see it, 24 to 48 hours. And all I'm going to do is put the desire out. I know what it feels like. I've already got it. It's already done. And now all I have to do is just receive it, however it wants to come. Not my pig, not my farm, to know, right, how it's going to come or where it's going to come or when it's going to come. Yep. Not my job. Like, I've got to stay in my lane. I ask for what I want and I receive it when it comes, right? But the key integral part of that is that you have to believe, you have to be in alignment with it. In other words, if you believe it, and this is your desire, when they line up, then it must manifest. When my belief matches my desire, it must manifest. It must. It is law. It is the universal law. So I did the same thing with the green ball. I did the same thing with $100, right? And here's what people found. The more they freaked out about how it was going to come or where it was going to come, they tried to manipulate the universe. It took them forever to find it. Took them forever. Well, I had a woman that said I couldn't find the damn green ball anywhere. And so she's like, I went to Walmart because I'm like, I know there's a green ball there. And she's like, but then I get there and I'm like, well, that's totally cheating. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you know what? She goes, I just threw my hands up in the air. I said, she goes, screw it. I'm done. And then she goes to a store with her daughter on a Saturday that's never open on a Saturday, but they were open this Saturday. She goes, I don't walk in and there's the freaking green ball. And I'm like, why do you think you found it then? She's like, because I gave up worrying about how I was going to see it. And I just let it go. And then it shows up. And I'm like, that's it.
Okay. Tami, I'm so glad that you were here to join us. So thank you so much for taking time. I do have a quick question. So if we have somebody listening and they've never manifested, maybe never really heard about it, never thought about it, what would your advice be for like the first step for somebody to do to kind of learn or to dip their toes in?
The first step would be to do exactly what I had you guys do, right? When you first found me on TikTok, which is, you know, let's just manifest. Let's see if you can manifest something simple. And I want to clarify what manifest is. Manifesting is just having something show up in physical form that you could experience with your five senses, right? So hearing, sight, you know, smell, touch, taste, whatever, that you have thought about wanting to experience, and then it shows up. So that is what manifesting is. And it couldn't be it could be bad things or good things. There's no difference in manifesting. So that would be the first thing that someone has to understand, is that it's just something showing up that you thought about that now you get to experience in your reality, in your life. Okay, so that's the first thing. So second thing would be, let's start baby steps. Let's start like just, can you manifest the rubber duck? So in other words, so if you close your eyes and I say, picture a rubber duck, and it can be whatever, as big as you want it, as small as you want it, whatever color you want it, if it has a little hat on it, it doesn't matter, right? But what does it look like? What kind of texture does it have? Is it a squeaky rubber duck? Is it a hard one? Like, what kind of rubber duck is it? And even getting down, trying to use all five senses. What does it sound like if you squeeze it or if you rub on it, right? What kind of sound does it make? What does it smell like? I know what a rubber duck smells like. Trust me, my kids have enough of them. I know that smell. So really getting into the feeling of, what does your rubber duck look like and smell like, and all that stuff. And then getting to the place where you see it so much in your mind that it's like you have this sense that you don't need it anymore, because now you've already experienced it in your mind. And once you experience it in your mind, you're going to experience it in the body. In other words, in your real life. So then once you're done with that, then just spend the next 1 to 2 days just being aware of your surroundings to see where, when, and how it might pop up without having to control the when, the where, or the how, or the who.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can just try that small experiment to prove to yourself that, yes, I can manifest something. And Caitlin, what you had said earlier about, if you think about a red car, you'll see red cars, right? If you think about something positive, you'll see the positive, which is true. And I'll end kind of this part of it with this, is that in your brain, you have a thing called a reticular activating system that filters out everything that you don't want to focus on. So you have billions of pieces of data coming into your brain all day long, right? There's things going out in my world right now with the kids in the other room, and I can hear them playing. But my focus is on you, so I don't even pay attention to that. So that's the reticular activating system in your brain, which is when you give it instruction, it will follow it. So if I do this, I know I'm going to see a red car today. All of a sudden, that gives the instruction to that activating system to only look for red cars. And that's what you experience. So what happens is so if I told you guys to do this, close your eyes, and I want you to think of a pink elephant. And then open your eyes. Did you see a pink elephant?
Yes. In my mind.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I close my eyes.
Obviously not a real one, but yeah, in my mind.
Right?
It's so funny because I have a pink rose quartz elephant right here.
And I had no clue about that. That's crazy. So there it is, like bang, right? So when you say to yourself deliberately and intentionally, this is what I'm going to think about. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to think about this thing and what it looks like. And automatically you'll know what it looks like, right? You can't unsee it once you see it. Then you tell the reticular activating system, the RAS in your brain, that says, I'm only going to look for pink elephants, or I'm only going to look for money, or I'm only going to look for the red car. And it will do its job for you. It will start scanning through all of the billions of pieces of data through your day, and it will only focus on that thing like a bullseye. And all of a sudden, that stuff will show up in the craziest ways, right? So that's your job. How it gets brought into your reality is none of your business. None of your business. So start out small. Do the duck. Do the duck. And what I would love is if there's a way for people to comment on this podcast, then put a comment after you watch it and say, hey, I found the duck. I found the duck. I did the duck thing and I found the duck. Like give Kay and Becky some feedback on this.
Definitely.
Like, get excited about this because guys, this is life-changing, altering information here. This is literally, I don't know what, and I know a lot of wealthy people, and I know a lot of professional athletes, and I know a lot of celebrities. I don't know one person that goes about their day going, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, blah, 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 and experience the complete opposite of that. Common sense. Right? So
Absolutely.
I would love for people to be able to give their feedback on things that they like. Think of something you're on your own that you would like, something small. It doesn't have to be a duck. It could be anything.
It could be a pineapple.
It could be a pineapple. It could be anything, right? But have fun with it. The key to this is to have fun with it. Just to be a kid again and use your imagination and just say, you know what? When I was 5 years old, I wanted to be an astronaut or a veterinarian. Like I remember doing that. Like I just could go into imagination land and pretend I was whatever I wanted to be, and I really thought I was. Right?
Yep.
Not really any different. Not really any different. But that's a great question. How can they start?
Yeah. So, and I would say to people, I know there's a lot of people on TikTok and a lot of people who are like anti-TikTok. And even if you're kind of anti-TikTok, I know there's a lot of bullshit and baloney on TikTok, but there's definitely some good stuff on there too. If you are on TikTok, strongly recommend you look up Tami Gomez, TamiGomez, and follow her. She's amazing. And I know aside from that, I mean, and that's all free stuff that you do, given your little tidbits and doing your coaching sessions, but you also do one-on-one or private coaching sessions, private master or private classes. So that's something that if anybody was ever interested in, I know that's something that you offer. And what we're going to do is when we post this podcast is make sure that we have all of your handles and your different, different ways that people can find you, because my hope is that we can get some more people connected to you, following you, just at least watching your TikToks, YouTube. Look her up on YouTube. Her videos are now posted onto YouTube. But there's some pretty cool stuff. So I highly recommend looking up Tami. And again, Tami, thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening to be with us and to talk about what you do, because it's so fascinating.
It's my pleasure, ladies. Thank you so much. And thank you for helping me spread this knowledge and spread the word to help other people, because there's so many people that are suffering and living a life that they feel is out of their control. And everything that I do, again, is for me, for you, for us, which means it's for me because I have to fulfill my own passion and my own purpose in life. And it's for you to create a better life for you and your families. And then it's for us as humanity. And I can't do this alone. Like, I need amazing women like you to lock arms, right? And understand that we can cheer each other on and we can want the best for everyone, because we live in a mindset of abundance, not in lack. Like, we're never going to run out. Like, just because somebody else is doing better than we think we should be doing doesn't mean that there isn't enough for me, right? It's what's stopping that from coming is me.
Yeah.
And what I believe. And
that's such an important point. Yeah.
I want everybody, there's plenty of, trust me when I say, there's plenty of everything to go around, because not everybody wants the same thing. So we will never run out. So please cheer each other on, lift each other up. There's too many women, especially, that just like to badmouth other women and bring them down to make themselves feel better. And it's not doing anything but hurting us as a society. And I need to get that message out, and you guys are helping me do that. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
Thank you.
For you guys.
We're so grateful. We're so grateful too. That is literally the purpose behind Affirming Always, and kind of what created this podcast and this group, is just the ability to, whether it's one person or 1,000 people or 100,000 people, like, make an impact, make a difference, help people who may not have access to the tools. And I was telling my mom, I think that the best thing kind of about talking to you and showing this to people is there's so many more resources to help yourself than, if you can't afford therapy, that doesn't mean that your life can't get better. Like, that you don't need to have things to get them. And I think that, bringing positivity, bringing hope, bringing faith, whatever you want to call it, into the conversation in any way is really beneficial.
Absolutely.
So yeah, as my mom said,
if you don't hire me, hire somebody. Like, even if it's not me, I don't care. I just need to make sure that you get the information you need. And and a lot of that stuff, okay, like you said, is, all the videos and stuff, I drop all those cheat codes and the affirmations and all that information. There's a lot of information that you guys can get your hands on for free. If you're just starting out, or if you're struggling, like, this can be life altering information for you, right? But you have to want it. Like, you have to take that first step in faith and just say, I'm just curious. Let's just see what this is about.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, as my mom said, thank you so much, Tami. That kind of brings us to the end of episode 4. All of Tami's social media handles, as well as links to potentially book with her, purchase any of her books or writings that she's published, as well, will be in there. And yeah, just thank you for listening to the podcast. Feel free to join Affirming Always and reach out if you or someone you know would be interested in being on the podcast as well. And just remember, whatever you're going through, this too shall pass.